So you keep thinking that you have these nice weekends and you think, they were wrong. Spring is here. And
Yeah,
all of a sudden,
it's
here we
winter
are,
again.
walking
Right.
through several inches of snow once
Yep.
again. And I guess what we're doing is walking on a nice hill near your house. Is that right?
Well, it's more than a hill near my house. It's the top of my house is what it is. You're walking right on it.
We're standing on your house.
We're right over the hallway between the kitchen and the living room at the moment.
So did you do that because of the weather we're standing in right now?
Essentially, yes, because I lived in this wooden box house that the wind blew right through, you see. and I thought, if we're going to live in this kind of conditions, let's build a house that'll be more efficient and more comfortable. So now I got this. Well, my ears are getting cold. Let's go in, I'll show you.
All right, great.
All right.
Let's walk down your roof.
All right.
Oh boy, here we go. Into the warm.
Oh, nice and warm.
Yeah. It is warm. Look at that. That's amazing.
Yeah, well.
I know, we're underground. I don't know why I always think that when you're underground, you're going to be cold. Like mine shafts and things like that, you know?
Yeah, well, no, the further you go down, the warmer it gets. But, of course, this is warm because we heat it, too.
Right. It's also incredibly light in here for having no window.
That's the idea. The light comes from above, just like it does from the sky, you know? So, and also the dome is like the sky above you, so it's...
Right.
It does work. But building the place was really the trick because, you know, you go to the building supply store and everything comes in 4x8 sheets or something like that. So once you get beyond sort of building out of the rectangle, it becomes a real sculptor's problem, you know?
No kidding.
Well, we had to put all the plumbing in that too before we put the concrete. Had to think out all the plumbing ahead of time. Then we poured the finished floor. After we'd put in about 3,000 feet of hose, which was going to be the heating system to feel the floors are warm.
Right.
Warm water circulating through the floors.
And is that just plastic hose that goes under?
No, it's actually welding hose. Then welding hose, then you have hot, cold on one end and hot, cold on the other. And if you had a single hose, the water gradually cools off in cold spots, and warm spots. So this way, you have them running parallel, and then hot and cold running separate directions, and you have a constant heat everywhere. For example, the heat is coming from the floor, so there's a convection, and it flows up and around, and then down in the middle, you see.
And do a whole revolution.
Then after that, of course, we put on wire mesh, and wired all that on, and then building much like concrete, essentially, and it's sprayed on concrete. And that was a bit of a trick because concrete, you get gravity and it wants to fall off. So the trick was to get a layer of concrete on the floor, so there's something to shoot against.
Building codes, permits, building inspectors.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have a terrible time with all of that when you
Well,
started?
actually, the building inspector was very good. You know, I mean, what I did, I applied for a permit, and they said, well, we don't understand this at all, obviously. He said, but you need an engineer's stamp on it. The biggest problem was finding an engineer that could look at it and say, yeah, this won't fall down, and it took me a while to find a guy. And then the building inspector came in to have a look how things are, and he walked around through it, and he said, well, what do I know, and left.
That's your...
Good. Oh, here's the ASI and the altitude and the airspeed indicator. What I say is that you know, we've been entrapped by conventional architecture, which started out with the tree. The tree is a straight stick, and out of that straight stick we built square boxes. We never got out of that. I mean, a human shape isn't a square box. So this is more organic, more natural, And because of the light from above, et cetera, you have the feeling that you're outside while you're inside. And that's always a nicer feeling than being, again, cooped up in some little box.
So you just, this is all your own work. You designed everything in here. You built the doors, you designed and built the hinges.
Pin coming out there.
Right.
But yeah, that's. But you see, the hinge had to be built into the steelwork before you ever even put the concrete on. So we built a jig so that all the door frames would be the same. That's the doorway into the bedroom. See that? Come on through. And then you know, finding furniture to fit in a round room is a trick. So we had to build all the furniture.
What drew you to living in an environment like this?
Well, a couple of reasons. The main reason is it's more efficient to live underground in terms of heating and cooling of the house. The temperature in the atmosphere varies 60 degrees annually. We're talking Celsius, of course. And but once you get under the frost line, it varies maybe 10 degrees annually. In terms of maintenance, it's far more efficient because you've got natural stuff growing on the roof that renews itself all the time. It's a more gradual and comfortable atmosphere to live in than being out in the vagaries of the weather that are so variable.
So in fact, this is the biggest window in there.
It is. It's 6 feet in diameter. I built several igloos when my boys were younger, and I was amazed at one candlelight in there. The light all reflects back in. If you had a perfect sphere, all the light would stay in it, see? So it works that way, and everything works more efficiently, sound and light and heat, everything.
Right. How much did the house cost you?
About $400,000. It still costs more than building conventionally. You know, halfway through, I look at the thing and say, are we going to be able to live in this, or have I just got a big hole in the ground where all the money went? You know, and so that constant worry that way.
So the building inspector approved it. I want to know what happened when you went to the bank to get the mortgage. What did they think?
Well, I went many times.
So what was the most difficult design problem you had in building the house?
I think it was the kitchen because, you know, you have to get all those square cupboards and round and square things that fit in this round room. That was probably the trick. Come on, I'll show you some of the solutions we came up with. Of course, sort of built the shape first and put some places for plumbing in, found the plumbing was in the wrong place, et cetera. And then, you know, we have all these curved surfaces, and you can't go and buy curved drawers, you know. And for example, the drawers, when you open them up, they all come in concentrically, and you have to, you know, a normal kitchen cupboard, you'd buy a set and put it in here, but these all you have to custom build, and it's a combination of concrete and wood.
Your refrigerator, for example, you didn't put a square refrigerator in here, did you?
No, you can't. And besides, I think refrigerators are designed wrong. You know, when I was a kid on the farm, we had this old farmhouse that had a dumbwaiter. Because it was cold in the basement, this thing would rise out of the floor. And so, using that thinking, I designed a fridge that combined with sort of the dumbwaiter idea with Lazy Susan. And there's everything you need right there when you want it. The beauty of it is, too, that the cold air, of course, stays in this cylinder. And it, you do lose a little bit of cold air by the displacement of this going back down, but it effectively works much more efficiently than a square refrigerator strip. And this guy came up to me and he shakes my hand and he says, I'm flying this thing because I saw you're on 2020
it's
and
very
he goes
feminine,
on.
I guess.
And it turns out he owns a whole chain of hotels.
You know, it's like being almost going back into the womb, the shapes, and it's so cozy.
The neighbors who live in split-level houses and all the other houses we're used to, did they ever tell you they thought you were crazy?
Well, when I was building the place, yeah. They're all looking at it like it must be nuts.
You built this extraordinary environment. What's next for you?
Oh, well, I got lots of ideas. This year I was going to do create a scale, almost a full-scale replica of Stonehenge out of ice, called Icehenge, you see, on Lake Skugog, because they have a festival there every year. And I thought it would be wonderful to create this thing out of great slabs of ice cut out of the lake. And then you'd set it up exact geometric shape of Stonehenge, but then you watch it melt as spring came, it would be like watching the deterioration of Stonehenge on fast forward.
What a wonderful thought.
Yeah.
And are you actually going to do
Sure,
that?
yeah, yeah.